Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to test out the TST Dreamer Fat Tire e-bike. This is one of those big, meaty fat tire e-bikes. One of my favorite types of e-bikes out there. So I don't know much about this brand, but I will tell you it's on sale right now. Normally over $2,000, currently $1,199 on their website. If I find a better price, I'll be sure to put a link to this down in the description section. But let's not waste any time. I'm going to test this thing out so you don't have to. So let's go ahead and unbox it. I'll put it together. We'll get on the road. We'll talk about all the specs because this has some impressive specs for this price range. It kind of surprised me. So I want to know what the catch is. So we're going to test it out extensively in today's video. Let's go. Well, no surprises here. It looks like there's going to be some build involved in this e-bike purchase. So it actually looks pretty normal. I can tell you these tires are huge, meaty tires. And once I get this thing built, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it looks pretty standard. Pretty thin seat. I'd be curious if that's comfortable. The back rack, it looks like it's a 55-pound max back rack. It is added onto the frame, so it's not molded in the frame. So you definitely wouldn't want a second passenger, but you could carry some cargo back there. It does have a front suspension. I don't see a back suspension or a suspension seat, so we'll check out if the tires compensate for that. But overall, it looks like a pretty easy build, so let's get on the road and test it out. All right, so we're all built. Took a total of about 30 minutes to build this e-bike, which actually isn't that bad. So I'm going to give you really quick my first impressions of this, and then we're going to take it for a ride. We'll spin it around the neighborhood, and we'll get a real good close-up look at this on the road, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So first impression, it's got some unique features. It's got a lot of power. It's at a great price. Has a very unique gear shifter, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. The seat is actually really nice looking. It has a little handle to lift it, but it doesn't seem like it'd be that comfortable. But when I take it on the road, I'll definitely take it out for that full effect, and I'll let you know how I feel about that seat. I did notice that the fenders are plastic, not metal. Not a huge deal, but typically e-bikes in this price range will have maybe some metal fenders. So my first impressions though, it's got some pretty high-end components on here, but how it feels on the road, the response, all of that is what I'm looking forward to, because this thing has a meaty 1,300 watt peak motor, which is about 1,000 watts as a regular steady motor, which is pretty impressive in this price range. So let's get on the road and test it out. All right, so I'm out here testing out the TST Dreamer. I did choose the step-through design because it's just easier for me to get on and off. These are big, fat, meaty tires, guys. It's got a lot of torque too. First impression was I almost did a wheelie on this thing. It went so fast off the get. So if you are new to e-bikes, I would start at pedal assist level 1 or 2 before you start getting up there. I always crank it right to 5 because I want to see what this thing can do. And boy, it can do. I'll tell you what. I got the light gray color. I think they have another color option. It might be like a black, not quite sure, but I really just like the look of the gray one, so that's what I went with. It's almost like an off-white, really nice. So right off the bat, I will tell you this, the seat is a little bit stiff. I would have liked a little bit more comfortable seat, but so I do feel some bumps, but not a lot, and that's because it does have a front suspension. It also has these big fat tires, so it kind of compensates for not having a rear suspension on here or a padded seat. It's a really nice looking seat, but I would consider maybe upgrading if you're going to be taking long rides. And this has a long range, and we'll talk about all that here while I'm riding. It does come standard with fenders, and it comes standard with a back rack. But my first impression was I'm impressed with this speed, guys. This has a lot of torque, so let's talk about speed. It is a 1,300 watt rear hub motor. It can handle 500-pound rider, which is crazy. It has a 65-mile range. Now you have a long range like that on a big e-bike like that because it does have a 48-volt 15-amp-hour battery. So it's got the larger battery, so you're going to have the longer range. And considering the kind of power you have in this, it's actually not really that heavy of an e-bike. But I will tell you right now that it is an 85 Newton meter torque. So I just want to bring that up if you know what torque is. The highest e-bike that I've ridden, well, I take that back. I got a new one recently, but most of the high-end, really expensive e-bikes are around 90 Newton meters of torque. This has 85, so it's right there. But you guys, you wouldn't believe the price. I'm gonna tell you right now, it is almost half off. It's $878 off right now on sale. I will put the link to that sale price down in the description because it's under $1,200 for this e-bike, which is pretty darn crazy for this kind of performance, this kind of range and speed. It's pretty darn impressive. Uses Samsung batteries too, so it's got some high-end batteries. And when I say these are big meaty tires, they're 26 inches by 4 inches wide, which is kind of a standard for the higher end big fat tire e-bikes. This is the type of size I like. A lot of times when I get big e-bikes like this, the big problem is trying to get on and off of it because it's so big, but the step-through design just makes it really easy to do. It's going to have that 28 mile/hour speed, like I said, and that's because it has a regulator. All e-bikes have regulators. If you were to buy this in Europe, I think the max is, what, 15 or 20 miles per hour? You can tell me if you're in Europe. So if you want to go faster, it has the power to go faster. You just have to unlock the panel. And there's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do that. I think I have a few over on my channel as well. Well, I hope you enjoyed the riding scenes on the TST Dreamer. Now, this is a step through, and they also have a different model, very similar, pretty much the identical specs, but with a bar here if you prefer that. As I get older, I get injuries. The step through is just a lot easier to get on and off. So let me just give you my quick final impressions of this while I was out there riding. First of all, I was pretty much spot on with comfort level. The seat definitely needs an upgrade. It is cool looking, it looks nice, and I know I showed you a close-up look at that while I was riding, but it's just not that comfortable. It's a little bit thin for me, and not having a rear suspension of any kind on this e-bike, I really felt those bumps. And I've got a bumpy road here, so it's really nice to test it. I also took it a little bit off-roading, and same kind of thing. Even just going across a field here, I had a little bit of, I felt every bump. So I would have liked that, especially with these big fat tires. You don't really want to feel bumps, and I did. It does have a front suspension. It's not an adjustable front suspension though, so what you get is what you get. So I'm a little bit disappointed in the suspension on this e-bike. But if you're just going to be on trails, if you're just going to go do some road travel, it's not bad. Another impression that I had was the light right here. As you can see right up here, this is an awfully small front headlight for such a big bike. But you know, you can go on Amazon and get one of those big old really nice lights for about 30 bucks and really enhance the whole experience of your e-bike. Overall though, this actually had really good brakes. It had a lot of torque. It really took off when I was out there. In fact, the drone couldn't keep up with me. I had to slow down to film those riding scenes because this thing had so much power. So if you're looking for an e-bike around $1,200 that has the power of a $2,500 e-bike, this is the one you're going to get right here. They did save a few things: plastic fenders, small headlight, not that comfortable of seat, can't carry a lot on this back rack, but it does have a max carrying weight of 500 pounds. So if you're a larger person, this is a large e-bike. I mean, this thing is huge. Look at these tires. I mean, those are big 4-inch wide, 26-inch tires. So it's got some pretty cool features to it. I will tell you, for the price, what you get, pretty darn impressive. And a lot of those things that I'm complaining about, you could actually upgrade yourself. So it's definitely not the end of the world. There's a place for a water bottle holder. I would add that. Of course, the big headlight. I'd put a cell phone mount on here and a bigger seat. That's probably all I'm going to do to this e-bike. So we're talking a total of maybe $100 out of pocket, and now you have, in my opinion, a $2,500 e-bike. Pretty impressive little piece of machinery here. Again, this is the TST Dreamer. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below. And I will put links to where I got this down in the description section. It is on sale right now, so I made sure to post this video during the sale. So if this is something that you want, now's the time to do it. It's over $800 off right now. Thanks again, everybody.